Cupcakes are a delicious and adorable dessert. However, sometimes your cupcakes don't turn out fluffy, but rather sunken. This may cause you to ask, why did my cupcakes sink in the middle? It can be frustrating to deal with cupcakes with sunken middles. They lack the delicious, fluffy flavors that we all know and love in cupcakes. Fortunately, there are some easy steps you can take to prevent them from sinking. Why do cupcakes sink? You overmixed the cupcake batter. When it comes to making cupcakes, overmixing can cause all sorts of problems. Your problems can begin with creaming the sugar and butter for too long, beating the eggs too much, and overmixing your batter. Overmixing can cause too much air to be incorporated into the batter. In return, this can cause the cupcakes to fall flat as they bake. You opened the oven door early. Though it can be tempting to check in on your cupcakes, this can be problematic. Opening the door early on as you bake for too long can cause cold air to get in. This temperature change can cause the cupcakes to collapse. Your baking soda and/or baking powder has expired. Leavening agents are key to a fluffy, light cupcake. If your leavening agents are expired, your cupcakes will likely sink in the middle. They need leavening agents to rise as they bake, and ones that are expired will not work properly. Your oven temperature is too high. Oven temperature is vital to a properly baked cupcake. If your oven temperature is too high, your cupcakes will rise too quickly. Then, this will cause them to fall flat as they continue to bake. You let the batter sit out for too long. If you let the batter for your cupcakes sit out for too long, it can cause the leavening agents to lose their rising power. Avoid letting the batter sit out for several hours, and best results. Don't refrigerate your batter overnight. You didn't bake them for long enough. Why are my cupcakes flat? If you try to speed up the time to bake your cupcakes, they will likely sink. Increasing the oven temperature and decreasing the amount of bake time will not work out. It can cause your cupcakes to fall flat. You used the wrong type of cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is a key ingredient to delicious chocolate cupcakes. However, using the wrong type of cocoa powder can cause your cupcakes to sink. Dutch process and natural cocoa powder are not the same thing and can't be used interchangeably in cupcakes. Dutch process cocoa powder does not react with baking soda. So, if your recipe calls for baking soda, use natural cocoa powder. Why did my cupcakes fall, and how to prevent cupcakes from sinking? Fortunately, there are some simple steps you can take to prevent your cupcakes from sinking. By carefully following these steps, your cupcakes will have a wonderful texture and delicious flavor. Carefully read your recipe. Before you get baking, make sure to carefully read the recipe. Be certain you have all the ingredients the recipe calls for. Making substitutions can alter the recipe and cause your cupcakes to fall flat. Make sure your leavening agents haven't expired. It is important to make sure your leavening agents haven't expired when baking. Before you add them to your recipe, be sure that they have not yet expired. Avoid opening the oven door early. Avoid opening the oven door early on as the cupcakes bake. The more you open it and the longer you keep it open, the higher chance your cupcakes will sink. Use the correct cocoa powder. Make sure you use the type of cocoa powder that the recipe you are using calls for. Don't use Dutch process and natural cocoa powder interchangeably. Make sure not to overfill the liners and cook for the right amount of time. When filling your cupcake liners, be sure not to overfill them. Fill them so they are only 2/3 full to prevent them from overflowing and sinking. Be certain to also cook them for the amount of time the recipe calls for. If you are unsure they are fully cooked, use a toothpick to check. If the toothpick comes out clean, they are done. If there are crumbs on it, bake it for longer. No more sinking cupcakes. Cupcakes that sink in the middle have a dense, unpleasant texture. Fortunately, there are some simple steps you can follow to prevent this from happening. Do you have any questions on why did my cupcakes sink in the middle? If so, please ask your questions in the comments down below. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.